are me, the Young Jamaican Trainer. Welcome back to the Strength No Weakness podcast. On the left of me, I got my amazing co-host, the original gentleman, the legendary Coach Gustus. Welcome.
Hey, welcome back again, man. Here we go.
We're back at it.
I'm so excited again. So much has been happening around. You know, I know you got to do your regular intro, but
You already know.
I can't wait to get the chance to talk to you, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Before we even start off our amazing conversation and the topics that we have ahead, I just want to let everybody know that you guys can keep up with our podcast all over Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. We are on all platforms for you guys to be able to access us. Listen, you have no excuse not to keep up with the Strength No Weakness podcast. So guys, make sure you tune in. So back to you, Coach. Listen, we got a lot to cover today, but I just want to ask you, how are you feeling today? Because, you know, I feel like that's a real genuine question that we ask people out there, and we really want to know how they're feeling today. So, Coach, how are you feeling today?
So, you know the thing about that question, when someone asks, how you feeling? We give a computerized answer. I'm doing fine. But do you really want to know how I'm feeling?
Right.
Because now if I'm feeling a certain way, do you want me to be honest, or do you want me to give the computerized question? Oh, I'm doing fine.
Right.
Oh, how's your day? Oh, good. So you could easily say those things.
Right.
And those things could be true, but maybe you might trying to speak something, self-talk and speak in existence. Or maybe you just don't want to tell you that, you know what, I'm having a rough day.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you actually said that, because, you know, you're right about the computerized answer. You know, that's usually the number one thing that people go to and say, you know, I'm doing fine. I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
My day was good.
But when you know the day has not been good. So when you ask that question, it's always a question that it puzzles me, because are you prepared to receive my answer?
Right.
And are you prepared to give me some time to answer that question with honesty?
Exactly.
And sometimes we have to be very, very conscious about that. So I want to encourage us when we say, what's going on? How are you doing? You know, those are questions.
Right.
And sometimes be prepared for somebody that want to give you an answer.
Right.
That
really.
Deep into their heart, that's really what's going on in them, you know? And you should be able to do that. But you also want to pick and choose the people that you actually open your heart to tell them the things that may not be going as you expected them to go.
Right, which is true, and I'm so glad that you actually mentioned that. I'm really excited for the people out there who usually, you know, just say, how are you doing, or what's going on. Don't be afraid to give a computerized answer and just say, you know, I'm doing fine, when you know your day was just not fine. You know, be prepared, you know, for the people who ask that question. Sometimes you have people who actually been through a rough day and they just really need somebody, you know, to really vent to, and you come up with that question, and then now they're gonna let you know.
Let me give you a quick story on that. My sister was 12 years old. I was 10 when she got killed by a car. And we were playing a game of handball. It was me and my older sister. All of them was older than me. And my sister was standing on the sidewalk on the corner waiting for next. And a car came from around the corner. Guy was drinking, and he turned the corner, ran up on the sidewalk, snatched my sister, and instantly killed her and hit 4 other people. He dragged and so forth. I don't like to tell stories like this, but this is a story so you understand. So what happened was, it was sunny, and all of a sudden it started to rain, pour down rain. It's like it was washing, because my sister was killed on the spot, and it was looking like it was just washing away all that was there. And so my father came home around 5 o'clock that evening, and he was walked into the block. Meanwhile, they had already taken the body out, and everything cleared up. The sun even came back out. And someone asked my father, how you doing, Mr. Gustus? And he said, fine. Now, he had not known that my sister got killed, because remember, we didn't have no cell phones and stuff like that there. He was in transit. And he said, I'm fine. He said, well, how's your daughter doing? How your daughter doing? Oh, she's doing fine. She's doing good. And to watch his face when he came to the door of our apartment, and as we were standing, everybody's out on the stoop, and he came to the door, and he's like, what is all the people around here for? And to watch him fall on his knees after they informed him that he had lost his daughter. So sometimes these questions that we ask, you know, he didn't know it. And I remember this just like it was yesterday. He did not even know that he just lost his daughter. And so sometimes we ask these questions. We got to be very conscious about, be prepared for individuals to give a true answer, especially if they know, and be prepared for that. That's all I want to say. Make sure you're ready to answer that question. You have to have the capacity and the time to be able to do it, because somebody may stop you and say, hey, you know what? Quite frankly, I'm not doing that well. Now what you do? Do you walk away? Okay, because usually when you say, how you doing? You going about your business.
Right.
But now, how you doing? Sir, I want to tell you how I'm doing. Now what you do? Because now you are there to listen and hear how I'm doing. So I always say that question is always a loaded question, is a question that people ask all the time, and we give these quick answers. But just know that somebody may say, I am not doing that well, and be prepared to answer that.
And I'm devastated hearing that story, Coach. I'm glad that you share that for us, you know, giving us an example of, you know, that how that question can come off, and, you know, what can it be, you know, for other people out there who going through, you know, tough times like that. Man, I got goosebumps while you were telling me that story, man. That really hit me. Yeah. And I'm so sorry for that, Coach, but, you know.
Well, that's one of the stories that I have. Talk about it. I talk about it because I was 10 years old. You know, my sister was 12, and I was right there. And my other sister, who was 16 at that time, she was there as well. So it's always sad to get stories like that. And I know sometimes you got people out there that have people that lost people that's close to them, and, you know, seeing it around it. But I got some news for you, and I'm not going to let it end on that. I got some news for you. Always remember, the power in one breath is that when a person loses that breath, it goes into eternal breath. And as a result of that, they begin to breathe life into you. So our ancestors never die. They always live. It's through the breath. So what I said, every time I do this, it's like I'm breathing in, and it's a tribute to my sister. It's a tribute to my brother. It's a tribute to my mother. It's a tribute to my grandpa, you know, my father, and my other sister, and so forth. All the people that passed in my life. These are my ancestors. So, and it's healthy. But every time I breathe that, I am breathing their breath in, because it is in their breath that keeps me and gives me the ability to use my one breath to breathe life into you.
Right.
So when you feel my energy and so forth, that's the life that I'm getting from my ancestors.
Right.
So whenever you're at that point and you have that moment and you think about someone that you lost dear, someone that you lost to you, breathe it in from your core. Breathe it in, bring it in, take it in, and then just relax. And then begin to think about, and no matter what you do out there, guys, someone asked the question, what's the first thing you should do when you get pulled over by a police officer? And everybody start telling them to do these things. I tell police officers, and I tell the person they pulling over, take that one breath. Police officer, take that one breath before you approach the car. As you go into the car, relax. You can't go there like this because you're afraid and nervous and so forth. Take that one breath. And when they approach your car or they approach you on the street, don't panic. Breathe in so they could see the relaxation. Don't start looking for a whole bunch of stuff, because I know parents say, make sure you do this, make sure you have this, make sure you have that. No, because now you're looking nervous. So you're making that person nervous.
Right.
Each of you got to breathe in that one breath. It's the power in that one breath that allow you to breathe life into each other.
Right.
At that moment, as opposed to, I'm afraid and you're afraid. Okay, so just some wisdom there, you know.
Man, you schooled me,
Always
Coach.
there.
Man, guys, this guy right here is amazing, man. Shout out to my coach, Coach Gustus, legendary coach right here. But we got a next segment. We're moving on. It's called Huddle Up. Right? Coach, this is for you. You are going to tell me a detailed story, right, of a memorable play or game from the past.
Now, I got it right here. This is a great.
Let me hear it.
So I'm going to shout out some people because they deserve to shout out like you do. Anthony Gilliam. Anthony Gilliam is a incredible basketball player, but I'm going to tell you a story about him. Anthony Gilliam, he played on my Nazareth High School. We were playing at in a tournament against I think Lincoln or Boys and Girls, one of the teams, and Anthony practiced his butt off real hard, but I had a great team that year. And basically, he was always the guy that practiced. Great shooter and everything, but I couldn't find time on the courts for him because he basically, I just had a great team, so I couldn't find no time on the court for him. This big game came down to one of my top players got injured, fouled at the last second of the game. He could not go on. So the coach from the other team gets a chance to pick a player from the bench.
From your team?
From my team, yes. They at that time, they got a chance to pick a player. So now, you pick a player, and basically, naturally, what's the name, had his warm-up suit on and everything, Gilliam, and he chose Gilliam to go out to shoot the free throws on behalf of this injured player. We were all ecstatic. Gilliam goes out and he gets 2 shots and he makes both of them. Wins the game. Do you know he got a scholarship? He got a scholarship to Adelphi University.
Adelphi, I know that.
After making those shots. The coach called me up and he said, anybody on your team I would like to have, but I really would like to have that kid that made those 2 free throws. And I said to him, you know what? His mother said to me, this is what makes this game so significant. This is an amazing story. His mother said to me, Coach, you're not gonna know what happened. She said, my son got up today and told me that he was gonna make the last second shot because he had a dream that he was making the last second shot. And she like, I know this was a big game. He don't normally play in those kind of games. What was he saying? And for you to call him out to take 2 shots, I said, well, I didn't even call him. The other coach had to pick the guy. He said, and he picked him, and he went out there and made those 2 shots. So that story is one of the many stories in my 48 to 50 years of coaching that stuck in my mind. And the fact that the coach took a chance on him for him to go to college.
Right.
By the way, when he went to Delphi College, he became one of the best shooters on that team. I mean, shooting threes, everything, which we all knew he's capable of doing, but unfortunately he was on the team that we had so many players.
Now, Coach, that story right there that's amazing. And your guy, and I think he believed in the self-talk. He believed in he was going to take the last shot, and he put it out there in the universe. And it came back to him where he Didn't have to play the whole game to take the last shot. But he did take the last shot in a crucial time where the best player was injured last minute. And not only did you didn't pick him, the other coach picked him. So what way to capitalize on a big win like that, and for you to take the last shot in that type of, how it went down, how it took place, and then getting a scholarship to a Delphi University because of those 2 free throws, which is important. That's why they say when you get to the line, Coach Gustus always preaches, 1 breath, breathe life. Take your time on a jump shot and make sure you keep it the same.
And let me tell you this here. This is amazing, because what happened is with him, he actually took himself and he practiced so much. Mm-hmm. That's why I always told you, if you don't see it before you see it,
you will never see it.
Yes, son. There you go.
I told you 21 days, man.
And what is that? When you don't see it before you see it, you will never see it. Which means what?
Yep. That means if you don't see the vision, you will never see it.
So he saw that vision in the morning before anything happened. He told his mother
I'm seeing the vision
in the
34
dream.
Today.
There you go. So if you playing a basketball game, you have to see the game before you see it.
Right.
In life, you got to see your vision before you see it.
Your purpose.
Okay,
yep.
You got to see it in your mind, because everything starts in the mind first. It becomes intangible, and you make it tangible by putting in the work. So you take it from the mind, this table, everything that we have, paper, everything, these mics, were all in the mind of somebody, and they took it from that mind and they put it out there. Seeing it before you see it. So if you're a basketball player, see that shot going in before you take it. See that free throw going in. See the game before you see it.
Hey, Mr. G, Mr. Tony, anybody got a fan over there? Because I think Coach Gustus is hot right now. He's going off. He's going off right now.
Not really, man. Come on. I just wanted to, because I get into my coaching mode.
I know.
There's a level of intensity that I have, and I just think that's such a beautiful story. And there's so many different stories that you could tell, but that one really sticks in my mind. And it showed me what you said about the universe and the ability to put something out in the universe. If you put an idea out there, it's going to be done. It's either going to be done by you or somebody else. So you need to go to work. Don't stand on the sideline. You got an idea, a dream, go to work and make it happen. Coach
Gustus is preaching right here.
All right.
Guys, we move on to our next topic.
Right.
It's called Would You Rather. And now I feel like, our producers is really hitting us with these, amazing topics.
Yeah, would you rather, right?
I think they setting us up, really to progress, man. So we got a Would You Rather segment. So now this is where Demarjay and Coach answer Would You Rather questions, right? The first question is, would you rather go in the past to meet your ancestors or go in the future and meet your great-grandchildren? Great-great-grandchildren. Now, I'm going to answer this first,
Go
ahead,
sure.
Now, I'm going to say I would like to go in the past and meet my ancestors, right? I'll say that because based on seeing the type of person my dad is, right? And how he was raised and he was brought up, on, discipline, responsibility, and just making sure that you're a good person. And he always speaks on how, his grandma was the person, that really, taught him everything, and the amazing person that he is today. So, the reason I say that is I would love to meet her, and just, make her just fill me with wisdom and just, make me be a better person, the person that my dad is. So that's why I would, if I got that question 100 times, I'm saying I'm going to meet my ancestors.
Right, that's amazing. And it's great because at your age, I can respect that. I'd like to meet my grands. And my great-grands.
My great-grands.
That means I'm around. So, I'm trying to stick around a little bit. I ain't trying to go nowhere.
You ain't going nowhere, Coach.
Going backwards for me is very important.
Right.
But always remember, through the breath, my ancestors exist. And one thing great about storytelling, and this is what we have done as a culture of people, we tell stories.
Right.
And your dad tells stories about your grandma, and then tell a story about your great-grand, and sometimes that's the opportunity for you to go back and learn more about them and so forth. Now, of course, the other day we showed the video of you.
Right.
I think one of the last segments, and basically you were a little kid then, so you had the ability to go back and see you as a little one, and now you're looking at yourself in the future when you was that kid. So I would like to look at, I like to see the great, if I could stay around as long as I can, sound mind, sound spirit, and see my great-grands. I'm thankful that I get to see the folks that I see now. I'm so grateful. But I would definitely want to see great.
Right.
And I like to see your greats.
Yes.
And your grands and all that kind of stuff. But that question is interesting.
I love that answer.
Yes, sir.
So we have the next question. Would you rather have more time or more money? It's a good one. I'm going with more time. You know, not saying that, some people are money hungry, right? The money will come. I feel like I want more time for the things that, I didn't get to finish, or for, the topics or the places that I never went to, the dreams that I never accomplished or reached. I feel like I would want more time to make sure that everything that I dreamed of, everything that I thought about, I want to get it done. So that's why I would really, love to have more time to get things that I haven't got done before. So, if it's to make more money, I have enough time to make more money. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I would pick more time over money in this scenario. Coach?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to go with you on that one as well. Right. I like the time. If I can get more time,
I'm living more.
I get more time. And it's not just the time, but it's the quality of life. Right. My wife asked me a question on Father's Day. They had set up the whole plan for me, my daughters, and they think they're gonna plan my whole Father's Day. I was like, look, y'all could do anything after 11 o'clock. They said, oh no, we want to go somewhere in the morning. They was playing around with me. And I said, no, I gotta go play basketball.
Right.
And I gotta get my games in. They said, my wife said to me, do you have to? Shout out to my wife, Karen.
We love you, Miss Karen. Yeah. Shout out to you.
But she said, do you have to go play basketball every Sunday, Saturday and Sunday? I said, no, I get to go. She said, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, I get to go play basketball, not have to. The fact that I get to go, people my age don't get to go.
Right.
So I have an attitude of gratitude because I get to do this. I get to do this. See? So I understand time and the space that I'm in now, that I've been allowed to get to do certain things. I get to sit here and talk to a 15-year-old amazing young man that's out there. I get to do that. Why? Because whatever God has done, the Creator has done with me in my time warp, He's saying, I'm extending your time right now.
Right, yep.
I get to talk to a 15-year-old. I get to talk to an audience of 15-year-olds because I learned from them. So I get to do that. I have a sound mind, sound spirit. I get to do that, even at my age.
Right.
So I don't take anything for granted at all. So time is very important. And if at 68, 78, 88, if I get to do those things, I am very, very happy about that. And that's very important. So I like to have that time right now.
And that's what's up, Coach. I'm glad that you stressed, and make sure we understood, the time that we have. We get that time, you know what I'm saying? So that answer to the second question was amazing.
Yeah,
you broke it down.
And let's not take anything for granted. Have an attitude of gratitude.
Attitude of gratitude. You guys heard it. Yeah. Make sure you take nothing for granted. You have an attitude of gratitude.
There you go.
Yo, I'm loving these quotes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And our last and final question for the Would You Rather segment. It says, would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button on your life? Now, I would want to go with a rewind button. The reason I would want to go on a rewind button is because, listen, for the things that I didn't get to accomplish, or for the things I failed at, or I gave up at, I want to rewind and make sure I change that. The things that I quit on, the things that I didn't, get done, or I said I can't do it. I would want to go back in time to make sure that those things are fixed, those things are corrected, and I'm able to get them done. So for me, I wouldn't put a pause on my life, but I would definitely hit the rewind button and go make sure that anything, in the past that was messed up, is fixed.
So let me just say this to you.
And here we go with it. I know it's coming. Right, Gene and Tony?
Oh,
I see it coming.
But
so let's brace ourselves. Seatbelt.
So the thing about it, we are the sum total of everything that happens to us.
Mm.
You would not be you, this great young man that I'm sitting around, right across from, that have the ability to communicate the way you have, had you not grow through, not just go through, but grow through your experience.
Right.
So your experience creates you. So everything that you've done that you call fail doesn't make you a failure.
You're right.
You maybe have failed, but you learn from that.
Mm.
So when I watch you now, I see it's like shooting a jump shot. You know what? I can't fix the jump shot that I missed, but I could surely fix the one that I'm about to take based on the way I miss. So if I miss to my left, then my next miss may be to my right. But the third one is going to be swish. What
was that quote you said about your Jimmy?
Oh, is it my Jimmy is a gimme?
No, it's
Jimmy is a gimme. I got all kinds of stuff.
It was another one. Something with my Jimmy.
I teach with my Jimmy?
No.
Oh, I got it. Anyway, so here's the deal. I would like to pause. Okay. And the reason why I would like to pause is because I need to sometimes take a pause and stop to think and say, okay. And when I paused because when I call a timeout, all right, the other team is going up and down the court and I call a timeout, that's a pause. It allows my players to come back, come together, bring all their thoughts,
focus,
wipe out all the haters and everybody that's around them and let them get refocused. Pausing is a great thing to happen so you can refocus.
Right.
All right? If you continue to rewind things in your head, that means that, guess what? It's going to be difficult for you to focus on the now moment. So that means if I miss the layup, you're like, I missed the layup. Meanwhile, you got to play defense.
Right.
Guy just flew by you. You say, well, coach, when you come over the bench, you say, well, coach, I missed the layup. That happened earlier. You can't be talking about stuff that you missed in the fourth quarter. Something that you missed in the first quarter, you're talking about it in the last quarter.
Right.
So you gotta be in the moment. But you need to take a pause sometimes just to take a look at how you're doing things.
Yes.
Fixing these things in the past is great, only if, but you don't need to be there. You don't need to be there.
You visit the past, but what?
You don't take residence. You visit the past, you don't take residence. So this going into our ancestors and visiting them. Hello, ancestors, I see y'all later, because I got to get back to the now, because I got to create my history. You understand that? I got to create my history right now.
You a mastermind.
No, we a mastermind, because our minds are coming together like this here. 15-year-old. Way to go, man. Let's go. Let's rock and roll.
Coach, thank you. We moving on to our next segment. It's called Say Less segment. Say less.
Say less.
Say less.
Don't say anything.
Don't say anything.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
So, Coach, we're going to react to a motivational, a positive, and encouraging quote from an influential person. So, this one, we have two. One from Bob Marley.
Oh, the man.
No woman, no cry.
One love.
One heart.
Okay.
Let's get together and feel alright.
Ooh, that's different.
Yo,
powerful, brother.
Right?
Powerful. Oh my God. Ancestor, may he
Yep.
rest in peace, man. Oh, man.
So he says, some people feel the rain, others just get wet.
Wow. What do you think about that?
Now I'm asking
No.
No. I'm asking you.
I get it, but sometimes I need to hear it in how you feeling that, because
Right.
there's so many different things in that, and I need to hear that coming from a young mind when you read something like that. How would you take it? Very important, because I'm gonna add some stuff to it. Just think about that. That's an interesting question that he asked, and is basically feeling the rain versus what?
Right.
Being in it.
So it can mean two different things.
Okay, for you. And there's no right answer.
Right.
Okay.
Two different things. So saying some people feel the rain, others just get wet. I would say some people feel, some people understand, like they feel the rain. Maybe, the rain can be their struggles, or, the rain can be, emotions running high. It can be anything, but they feel it. They feel every raindrop. It means something to them. While others are just getting wet in the rain just for the water to hit them. That's how I take it. Number one. The second one can be some people feel the rain. It can be vice versa. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It can be vice versa. So you can switch it up. But I think the number one is anything, basically what people are feeling, and the rain is supposed to, mean that pain or the struggle, or even if it can be something in an uplifting or positive atmosphere, but they feel each and every raindrop that hits them, and it means something to them. They understand the raindrop and what it is and what it's telling them, instead of just standing in the rain and just, I'm getting wet for no reason.
I'm glad I pushed you just then. See, this is what a coach does. See, so, because sometimes, you know what, out of the mouth of a child
Right.
comes the words that are definitely needed. It doesn't always got to come from here.
Right.
And you have been blessed with a well of what? Knowledge and wisdom. That's a wisdom thing that you just did. You just broke it down in a fashion that you just did. I couldn't even say it any better. And I think Bob Marley is so proud that you came up with that thought process, and it's so true.
Thank you, Coach.
To feel the rain that hits your body, to feel what it does, and so forth, and all those things that you just said make so much sense. So I'm taking my hands off of that. You just heard from the Young Jamaican Trainer. Yo, that's energy. And that's what I said to you even in the other piece about our ancestors.
Right.
That's a one breath moment. That goes to show you that our ancestors are inside you, because you took that. Where did you get that from? You didn't get that from a book.
Right.
You didn't get that from anything. That's that wisdom that came to you. So anytime you do that, you take that one breath and you go, thank you. That was Bob Marley swinging through you right there. And somebody else may have a different opinion about it and so forth, but I got exactly what you got, so I'm good.
Good.
I have to talk about it.
So we have our second inspirational quote. It's from Robert F. Smith. Okay, and it says, "You can't be all things to everyone and still be effective."
You know who Robert F. Smith is?
I know that.
You don't know that. Okay.
But I'm gonna let you school me.
All right.
And tell me what you think about this quote.
Okay, but also you need to know the man, because the man he's a money man.
Money man.
Yeah, he made a lot of money.
Oh, nice.
Like he's big time with the money. So I know we say we wanted time and wanted money. He got the money.
He had the money.
Yeah, but I guarantee you, always remember that. How many times have you seen a funeral where they have a truck full of money that's going to the grave? You don't see that. So everybody would want time, even him with money.
Wait, so are you saying that somebody took money?
No, you can't.
Oh,
that's the problem. You can't. And the thing about it, when you're dead, all the money that you have in the world, doesn't mean anything because you're going to die just like I did. So people would want time and quality time, I would think. I always talk about how to improve the quality of your life.
Exactly.
But let's look at this here, what he just said. You can be all things to everyone and still be effective. I live by that. But my all things don't always have to be to everyone. So I think about what is all things. Me having a talk with you in this moment may be all things to you that I'm helping to be provided. But I still could be effective in my whole communication, the way I do things. The challenge that we have often is that we do not understand how to give. Giving is one of the most powerful tools that you have. In the great stories of the Bible, it says you reap what you sow. Didn't say where you sow, but you reap. Giving is a giving thing. So I always feel that way. So I seek to give.
Right.
It doesn't cost me any money to see someone in the street and say some nice things to them.
Exactly.
When we're talking to our young people, it doesn't cost us any money to say, hey, I'm feeling that shirt. Sometimes I do that walking down the street and I'm like, yo, man, that's a hot shirt. One time I was on the train and this young dude was on the train and he was rocking some nice gear the way he rocked it. You know how you do. And I was like looking at him and he's like, yo, what this dude looking at me? And I'm like, yo, son. I got up from my seat and I walked on me like, yo, that jacket is off the chain. I don't know if it would fit me nicely like that.
Right.
And you see an older guy asking, and we start talking. I actually asked him, where did he get the jacket? And he told me that it's one of those stores that you go in there and it's not like you got 1,000 of them.
Oh, so it was like probably a limited edition.
Limited editions and so forth like that. He said, no, well, you can't just get this jacket. I'm the only one to have it. I'm like, yo, son.
So it's a one of one then?
Yeah. And I'm like, wow. He says, man, I like the way you rocking it. And it made him feel so good. I could see the glow that he had on his face. It doesn't cost us anything to speak words of encouragement, speak words of positivity, speak words of grand rising to individuals. So I think those are the things that make me effective because I understand that.
Right.
And it makes me feel good, you know, and you may need that. And I'm one that always looking at the energy of the person.
Right.
And to say, you know what, I just need to tell this guy that, yo, that looks nice. That you got this thing hooked up nice. And our young people from an OG, they love that. That's what we have to do. We have to reach out to our young people, talk to them, hear them so they can listen to you. If you don't hear them, they're not going to listen to you. So when you and I talk, I hear you. Son, I hear you. You say, okay, coach, I'm going to listen to you.
Right.
But if you reject them and say, oh, I don't got nothing to say. Oh, you young kids don't know what y'all saying. What? That's the reason why I do that. So it's so important. This is a great quote that he made.
And I'm glad you said that, Coach, because everything you said, I most definitely agree with that. And I'm, standing firm by it. I don't even want to mess up what you said.
You taking my route there, man. Well, we kicking it today then. That means
so we rocking out today. So I'm letting you stand firm on that one. And we moving on with that. We moving on with our fan question. Our fan question is from Jennifer D. So shout out to you, Jennifer. She says, Demarjay, do you ever plan on lifting weights or will you always stick to only calisthenics? Jennifer, I feel like that's an amazing question. For me, I think I would stick to calisthenics based on I'm lifting my own weight, my own body structure, and I'm doing things that, are suitable for me, comfortable for me. And you build the most strength by, lifting your own weight, doing things that, you're able to control. I'll give you an example. You see, when people do weightlifting, You know, I know a couple of people who do a lot of weightlifting, and then when it comes to calisthenics, when they are on the spot to do, you know, regular pull-ups, regular dips, regular push-ups, they are struggling, and you're like, wow, this guy's buff, this guy's Aki. How come he can't do that? Well, they're not accustomed to lift their own weight. They're lifting other weight. Mm-hmm. You know, it may pop up, the gains may come up, you may see them, but it's not your weight though. So when it's time to actually do calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, dips, things, muscle-ups, things that are your weight, you're not able to do them. So I feel like for me, I would only stick to calisthenics and, you know, kind of just, you know, rock out by lifting my own weight and, you know, getting Aki, getting stronger because, you know, that's my best opinion.
Well, you know, one thing great about that is that if you can't afford weights, you can't afford to go into one of the training sessions and all that stuff that people get. One thing you do have is your body.
You're a calisthenics.
You could do all the things that you need to do with those things. I love to watch you guys do, you know, certain things and so forth. When I was younger, we didn't really lift weights like that.
Right.
We worked on quickness and speed and all those things.
Like agility, endurance.
That was me.
Conditioning, yeah.
I got that flow, you know, go, you know. It's like, it's always, so I always felt that no matter how strong you were,
right,
eventually I was going to outdo you, and your strength in your body will become a part of you that would actually become a deterrent. Because I'm using my quickness, my speed, and so forth like that. But the game has changed so much, and everyone is getting stronger. You have to be stronger to play this game. You have to be in shape, play this game. I see you rocking your shirt, you're doing it. You have to. And be honest with you, son, I got to tell you this here before you shoot out of here. When you step on that court, I would be very, very disappointed if you allow people that don't work as hard as you work to outshine you.
I understand.
It just can't happen. Because the first thing that should come in your mind is that I don't believe you put in the work that I put in. You know, what's the guy, Luka? The guy that plays for the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, you got your hat there too.
Yeah, I know that. But he plays for the Dallas Mavericks.
Luka.
Yeah, Luka. And Luka said something very interesting. He said, man, the way you move these guys. He said, you know why? He said, I played against pro players since I was 15, 16 years old. So I know the strength of pro players. So when I come in the pros, in the NBA, I'm used to getting a bang. So that's one of the things that I think parents, if you have young people and they're interested, you got to let them play against older players.
Right.
And anytime you get the opportunity, years ago when we played in the parks and so forth, we played against older guys.
Right.
So now here I am, 15, 16 years old, and I'm playing against 22, 23. So I was able to gauge my quickness and what I can do on them. And if I could do it on them, I definitely kill my own folks. So you put in the work, you need to be able to go on that court and show that you're not gonna get tired, mentally especially, because tiredness is a form of mental thing, and because your body is in shape.
Right.
And you just know by that fourth quarter that you're going to wear this person out. And that's the attitude you have to take.
Exactly.
You see them on their knees, their hands are here, they're doing all these type of things because they're tired. You're like, yo, son, don't you know we got another quarter?
Right.
You're about to get this. You know, and I used to tell my players all the time, I'm like, yo, we in better shape than anybody. If they haven't beaten us by the third quarter, they in trouble. Don't let us be near 10 points. Down by 10 anywhere, we got this. Because my team was always in tip-top shape. And you heard John Sally talk about that. He like, look, because a coach, I was able to outrun everybody.
The pros,
there
professional.
You go, because you have to be in shape.
Man, Coach, this is another great episode that we just knocked out the park with all your wisdom, your knowledge. With that being said, straight no eating no shakari or shan. Believe it, achieve becoming another episode done, guys. Make sure you catch us on these platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio. With that being said, we out. Shout out to my co-host, my amazing original gentleman, the legendary Coach Gustus. Thank you.
Yo, peace.
We out.